Hazel Hart is back with us today for another reading from The Survivalist Daughter. This time she is going to read sections that show the emotions involved among the siblings when a kidnapped child returns.
Okay, for today I'm going to be reading again from The Survivalist Daughter, and in this particular scene, Kindra is going to meet her sister for the first time. The family has just driven home from Colorado, and it's about midnight and time for the girls to get some sleep. "It's almost midnight," Brian said, "and I'm sure Kindra is beat too. Kelsey, take her upstairs and show her around. And lend her some clothes until Mom can take her shopping. You look the same size." Kelsey's eyes did a quick scan of my body. "Looks like," she said without enthusiasm. "Okay, come on." I followed her up a flight of stairs to a central hall with rooms on both sides. "The bathroom's at the end," Kelsey said. She pointed to the left. "That's Sandra and Cindy's room. And in case no one said, Sandra's 11 and Cindy's 10. She entered a room on the right, and this is our room." There was a double bed along one wall and a twin roll-away bed along the opposite wall. A desk in front of the window held a laptop computer. Several boxes were stacked in a corner. "We're just moving in," Kelsey said. "In fact, I was unpacking stuff in the living room when we saw you on the television news." "Well, not you exactly. The arrest." And Hilda yelled, "It's Bruce. And I saw a man who looked just like Dad on the screen." She bit her lip and changed the subject. "Anyway, I didn't know how much stuff you'd have, so I waited until you got here to finish putting things away. All I have is what I'm wearing, so I won't take up much space." I felt awkward, an intruder. Obviously, Kelsey had planned to have the room to herself. Now she was going to have to share it. "I'd like to take a bath." "Sure, I'll get you something to wear." Kelsey dug through one of the boxes and came up with 3 items. "Here's a robe and pajamas." "Thanks." I took the garments. "Well, I'll just go shower then." "Fine, go ahead." "Okay." I crossed the hall to the bathroom. Once the door was closed behind me, I pressed my back against it, glad to finally have a few minutes alone. By the time I stepped out of the shower, I felt refreshed. I towel-dried my hair, which was a tangled mess, and slipped on the pajamas. They fit perfectly. Brian had been right about Kelsey and me being the same size and build, which was nice for me, but Kelsey couldn't be happy about handing her clothes to a stranger, even if the stranger was her sister. And now I had to ask her for one more thing, a comb. I slipped on the robe, folded my dress and underwear, and went back to Kelsey's room. I began working the tangles out of my hair with my fingers. "Do you have a comb I can use?" "You're going to need more than a comb." Kelsey got up and dug around in one of the boxes in the corner. She came up with a blow hair dryer, a round plastic brush, and a wide-toothed comb. "Sit here and I'll have you dry in no time." I took the chair in front of Kelsey's desk and she plugged in the dryer. I made a face as the hot air hit my head. "If that's too hot, I can turn it down." "It's fine." I closed my eyes and let Kelsey work. As the brush moved through my hair, I remembered how Mom, Hannah, had brushed my hair when I was little. It had been years since that time. I'd felt so grown up the first time I had fixed my hair on my own, even though the braid had been a little loose and frazzled. Practice had improved my braiding skills, though, and soon I was able to make it tight and neat as... Kelsey shut off the dryer. "Suddenly, you have a big frown. What are you thinking?" "About what to call people?" "Yeah, me too." Kelsey laid the dryer on the dresser, handed the comb to me, and sat on her bed. "When did you find out about us?" "This morning." Then I realized it was after midnight. "Yesterday morning, actually." I talked as I worked the comb through my hair. Agent Epperson, the Fed who interrogated me, said my mother had come for me. I blinked, remembering the anger I had felt and later the shock when I had seen my uncle. Brian looks just like Dad, except for the hair and the missing scar. I kept looking at Brian and wondering how the government could find people so quickly to pose as my parents. I shook my head. And you, we look alike. We look like Margot. So do our little sisters, Kelsey said. We're obviously from the same gene pool. So are you going to call Mom Margot? She said I could, so I'm going to. It's one thing for her to say she's my mother, but she's not the mother in my heart. I feel as confused about Dad, Brian, as you do about Mom. Ever since I can remember, he's been Dad. Now he's not. Now he's my uncle. And I've never met my real dad. My little sisters act like the truth doesn't change anything. For them, it doesn't. He's still their real dad. Hearing the frustration in Kelsey's voice made me feel closer to her. Whatever bad things came, I was beginning to believe that my new sister wasn't one of them. In the next segment, the half-sisters react. And the first one that you're going to meet is Cindy. She's 10 years old and she's the youngest. It's the following morning. Someone plopped down on the edge of my bed, bouncing the mattress and startling me out of a light doze. What? I yelped, struggling to sit up. Mom said to get up, a younger version of Kelsey announced. First, we're taking Aunt Hilda to the airport. Then we have to go shopping for you because you're the only one getting anything. She scrunched up her nose like something stunk. I scooted to a sitting position. And you are? She raised her chin. Cindy Jorgensen. Her blue eyes narrowed. Those look like Kelsey's pajamas. I gritted my teeth. They are. She rolled her eyes. Didn't you bring anything of your own? I didn't have time to pack, I snapped, wanting to swat this obnoxious brat for reminding me I'd nothing of my own in this new life. What's going on over there? Kelsey grumbled. She rolled over and squinted at us. Cindy, what are you doing in here? Cindy jumped off the bed and straightened like she was a soldier on duty. Mom said to get up. Kelsey groaned and fell back on the mattress. You delivered the message. Go. Mom said, Kelsey kicked her sheet to the foot of the bed. Tell Mom we're getting up. Well, you'd better hurry or Aunt Hilda will be late for her plane. Cindy's voice carried the authority of a general passing along an order from the Pentagon. She flounced to the door and flung it open. A moment later, she was stomping down the stairs. I sighed. I guess she doesn't want me here. I pushed back the covers and got out of bed. She wants to be an only child, Kelsey said, crossing the room and closing the door. When one of us gets something, she thinks she should too. I slumped onto the seat of the desk chair and looked out the window. Then buying me clothes is a big thing. Like here I am, the new kid, getting all the stuff. I guess she hates me. I wouldn't go so far as hates you, but for sure, you aren't going to be her favorite person, at least not for a while. In this next segment, Kindra meets her sister Sandra, who is 11 years old. So Sandra is next to the youngest, and she has a fairly interesting personality. I was just buttoning the top button when a brief knock at the door was followed by yet another girl entering the room. She looked just like Cindy, except she wore eyeglasses with thick purple frames and carried a notebook and pen. She stopped just inside the door and gave me a quick once-over. So you're my secret sister. Secret sister? The words seemed to fit. I guess so. And who are you? Sandra, she said as she wrote something on her pad. Kelsey entered, toweling her hair. Watch out for Sandra, she said, or you'll end up in her next story or play. Well, it's all just so dramatic, Sandra gushed, and happening in our own family. Someone has to tell the story, and I'm right here on the scene. Kelsey folded her arms across her chest. Are you a TV reporter or a playwright? Whatever. I'm going to get the story down. She used a finger to push up her glasses. I'll probably take some pictures. I can put them on Facebook. Kelsey shook her head. You know you can't put any pictures on Facebook. Dad would freak. Dad, Kelsey was referring to Brian. If he would disapprove, he was more like my father than I'd thought.